Yeah, yeah. It'll be better if you stand there. April. This is our small portable test stand. We can do all the work here in the shop, so it's out of the weather. The test stand itself was assembled from surplus government hardware. So those pressure vessels came off a ballistic missile. There are pressure vessels that are insulated here for liquid oxygen. This gizmo right here is the Lynx main engine. This has about 2,900 pounds of vacuum thrust, burns liquid oxygen and liquid kerosene. It's, like all Xcore engines, highly reusable. We expect to fly each engine many thousands of times on the Lynx spacecraft, 4 times a day to space, beginning in within the next year and a half or so. There are a lot more lines here you see that it's plumbed for taking measurements during the development process. And there will be 4 of these on the Lynx spacecraft. Oh, wow. So it'll be a beautiful sight when they're all 4 lit up on the runway, climbing to space.
I can't even imagine.
Well, folks in Los Angeles should be able to see this climbing to space and accelerating, because this engine plume is as bright as the sun.
Wow.
So you can't look at it for very long without blinking.
Or wearing sunglasses.
Or wearing, yes, we use welder's lenses to observe the plume. Yeah.
I'm glad it's 4 meters. It looks pretty small.
It looks pretty small, but if the smallest jet engine with a similar rated thrust is about this big.
That's more what I was expecting.
Yeah. This is a small engine, and it's fairly light. It looks solid, but there are cooling galleries in here, and lots of proprietary engineering technology. Simple on the outside.
In addition to working on the Lynx. The Lynx is our commercial project that we're working on with private investment money, but the company is also doing some contract work for government agencies and some private customer contracts. Private contract customers.
So what's this over here?
You need a chalk slate.
I know I do, but
What's this?
what's this over here?
Okay, this is the flight profile of the Mark I Lynx. Mark I is the first prototype. It won't have the full performance that later vehicles will have, but it shows the vehicle taking off from the runway, climbing on rocket power, coasting over the top. It has low gravity for about 4 minutes, re-entry and pull out just like an airplane, and then glide back to the airport and land like a glider.
And for those of us who don't know, what's the purpose of gliding?
It's the way to get back and not use any fuel.
I see. That sounds...
If you go to space, presumably you're coming back, especially if it's a suborbital trip and you're not going into orbit. So there's choices on how to get back. And the very last 10 feet are the hard part. And the choices are parachutes, like Mercury and Gemini and Apollo, or you can land like a glider, like the shuttle. Or one of our competitors has a vehicle that re-enters like a maple leaf and then becomes a glider. We have other competitors at vertical takeoff and vertical landing, and they land on the rocket engine thrust. And I think I've hit most of them right now. Our choice is to use the wings and land like a glider, because nobody's ever had a problem restarting the wings.
Wow. It just makes me dizzy just thinking about it.
Well, then you can... Actually, the spirals are only on the drawing to keep the paper as narrow as it is. In reality, it'll be flying out, turning around and flying back, and then maybe circling over the airport once or twice before
so we're
landing.
not spiraling down.
So
No.
how long would you be able to stay up in microgravity on the first few test vehicles?
The first vehicle has about 4 minutes.
4 minutes, okay.
The second vehicle will be longer.
Oh, okay.
And it's all a function of how high you can go.
Right.
Because microgravity is easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. Okay, there was microgravity for about 1 second.
Right.
The trick is being able to travel up fast enough so that when you're falling, you fall up, you fall down,
Right.
and it's microgravity as long as there's no forces, and the only way to not have aerodynamic forces are to be outside the atmosphere. You like that little demo there? Of
Yeah,
micro Is this a good place, or you want me on the back
No,
of
that's
it?
good. Actually, that's good. I get the camera right behind me.
Okay.
And I can pick her up and pick up your cockpit. Okay, if you wouldn't mind asking that question again.
So Dan, this was your plane?
This was my airplane. It was a home-built airplane that I didn't build. It was built by a good friend of mine. His name is Bill Perry. Lives in Huntsville, Alabama. He sold me the airplane, and I flew it for a while. It had a piston engine and a propeller on it. And we decided to put the rocket engines on this airplane, and unfortunately, I'm no longer qualified to fly it.
I was looking at it. It looks pretty small. I don't know if I could even fit in there.
Well, Dick Rattan is the test pilot on this airplane. He's about 6'2", and he wore a helmet. So trust me, you'd fit. Your feet end up about here. You want to sit in it?
Very
Sure.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We need pictures of you getting in.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay, now put your feet inside.
It's like putting on a race car.
I don't know.
Okay.
It feels more
So you
like
can
putting on a
hold
pair of
here.
pants.
Hold here and here. Slide down.
Wow.
You get claustrophobia?
Yep.
I can latch you in. Okay, you are now firmly latched inside.
It's very compact.
Before we installed the rocket engines, this was a two-seat airplane. And,
This was a two-seater?
yeah, the rear seat now has the liquid oxygen tanks, so it's a single-seat airplane.
Wow.
And yes, I've spent many hours in the back seat of this airplane.
I can't imagine spending any hours in here.
Well, it's a good way to travel. It flies at about 200 miles an hour, and it gets about 25 miles per gallon.
Well, your legs don't get cramped, but
Well,
Wow.
there's weight bags underneath your feet
yeah,
there.
but I mean it's surprisingly spacious, I guess. It's there's a lot of gadgets and gizmos in this little thing. Crazy. I had no idea how small they were.
Well, if you make it bigger, it's slower.
Yeah.
And who wants that?
Well, then why not just a jetpack with the pressurized suits?
Dollars per mile in a jetpack is not a good deal.
No.
No.
So I know how to get in here now. How do I get out of this thing?
Okay, sit here.
Okay.
And put your foot on the boarding step there.
Okay. And it's, it just seems like it would be very. It's just surprising that somebody built this in their.
This airplane was built in half of a two-car carport.
How long did it take them to build it?
I think it was about 5 years.
Oh, just household
want
stuff,
the
stuff
water
around the house.
No, you buy the materials from companies that are in the business of selling airplane materials. And the tools are basically scissors and a paintbrush.
Really?
Really, this is made out of cloth and epoxy.
Wow. 5 years, some cloth, epoxy, scissors, and what was the other tool?
Paintbrush.
And of course, the paintbrush. And there you have it.
There you go. He is a happy guy. Look at him.
Eating all those desert rats, right?
Not so much.
No?
What's his
No,
name?
but initially, yes. When we moved in, we had ground
Oh, you
squirrels.
got a spacesuit for him?
No. Cats do not do well in zero G.
No?
We know people who've tried that experiment. There was
He's
pain
a
on
good
the part
looking
of
guy.
the
What's his
experimenter
name?
involved.
Oh, that's Mouser.
That's Mouser.
She's our official
Oh, it's a
mascot.
she?
Mascot.
Hanger Queen.
She's been on the cover of the LA Times.
No
and
way.
all kinds of, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's good
You might want
looking.
to get her
Well, there's
signature.
a lot of people out there. They don't know who we are. They don't know what we do, but they know we have a cat.
Then the same Mouser. They,
Mouser.
they probably know the cat's name better than they know the airplane's name.
Yes, there are.
Okay, we'll introduce this guy next to you.
Okay.
We're not going to do it here.
And I did my hair so the wind wouldn't be blowing it. I think this side works better.
My hair seems to be doing
Yeah, I know. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I'm April, and this is Josh, and we're with Space Loft. We just met with the Vice President and Chief Engineer Dan DeLong. Let me do that again. Vice President, Chief Engineer. Okay. And then we see who the other guy was. Director. Okay. So I'm April, and this is Josh with Space Loft, and we just met with XCon.
Xcore.
Sorry, this is where I.
Count 1, 2. You're on, guys.
Hi, I'm April, and this is Josh, and we're with Space Loft. We're over here at Xcore and the Mojave Space and Airport, and we just met with Dan DeLong, Vice President, Chief Engineer, as well as Dr. Valentine, who is the director out here. And Josh and I saw some pretty cool stuff. Don't you think, Josh?
Oh, I think so. Especially, being able to sit in some of the cockpits that they have here.
Yeah.
Especially with the links and
No kidding.
kind of
That
stuff.
was pretty cool. It's really small, too.
Yeah. And also seeing exactly how the rockets actually launch these things. I mean, a matter of minutes, they're already up in
In
microgravity.
space, yeah, it's insane. And not to mention how they make it sound easy to make, you
Yeah.
know?
What was
He
it you said?
said
It's like
paper,
paper mache.
yeah, a paintbrush, scissors, and
We'll probably get back to the space loft now. Probably start our
I
works
think
on
we
our own.
should.